Hello everyone, welcome to the next vlog. It is night time and we are at Urumqi train station. We are surrounded by the moon up there. It's looking bloody lovely, and some lit up buildings in the background. We are about to take the train to Yining or Yining or some other name in Kazakh, and that is going to be our last city in China at this rate. I don't know anything about it, don't even know what its name is actually, so it should be a bit of an adventure because I'm also going to be spending the time figuring out how I'm going to get across to Kazakhstan, which will make it a bit more enjoyable. So it's going to be a good one, hopefully. Maybe interesting. I might also, because this will be the last China vlog, I might talk a bit about thoughts on traveling China, because that is something I've kind of discussed a little bit, but not as much while I've been doing the travel, because I've just been looking at things. Anyway, let's get going. We're in. One of the things that happens pretty often when you're going on these trains in China is the middle, like you go through security every single time, but they love asking you to pull out your power bank and shaving cream. And it is so annoying because I have to dig through my bags every single time. I forget what the words are for shaving cream and power bank, so they'll be like saying to me, and then I have to go into Google Translate and get them to speak into it. It's just an entire effort, but they're always like real sweet to deal with, so it's not actually an issue, but it's just funny. Anyway, I think this is one of the biggest stations in China. It's definitely one of the bigger ones I've been into. It's very large, similar in size to Chongqing and Shenzhen and Guangzhou. Pretty big. Good morning everyone, we have made it to Yining. I'm going to call it that because that is what is on every sign. It's what's on my phone for what the temperature is. It's 5 degrees. I've just booked my hostel as per usual when I've arrived, so I'm going to head there now. But on first looks, this place, good vibes. That's what I'll say. Seems like a good vibe place. I've only got one night accommodation booked at the moment, but if I like it I might stay another night, but we'll see. I have now made it to the hostel. It's quite nice. They love the colour blue in this area. So I'm staying in the historic cultural area. There's a mosque right next door, and I'm gonna head into town. There's like apparently a street that's like a market, and then that's the main attraction. I spoke to the girl at the counter and asked her about about getting transport to Almaty, and she said that 200 RMB to Almaty from the bus station. And I've read online some people talking about another way which is not on a direct bus, and basically you get a minivan to the border, cross the border, go to a town, and then get another shared taxi to Almaty. But the way it sounded with the breakdown of the prices was sounded pretty much exactly the same price, but you have to do a lot more admin. So personally, I don't mind admin if it saves me money, but if I'm just paying the same and doing more work, then it makes no sense, even though it's a bit more of an adventure. So I'll probably end up just getting the bus to Almaty, but I'll check the options. It might be just where I'm staying, but there's a lot of babushkas around, which I'm not used to seeing. It's very quaint. And yeah, it's quite nice. Here we go. Alright, so I head down on my bike. I couldn't get one of the electric bikes because the apps weren't working and they wanted my ID, and it just takes ages to verify, and these dark blue ones are the only ones that actually work for me. It's part of one of the things that I do find a bit frustrating. The apps are great, but when they don't work, they don't work, and it makes it a bit annoying. But other than that, I'm having a lovely time. This place is it's quite different. It's like narrower streets. And single-story, double-story buildings instead of real tall ones. So it's a bit different to what I've been used to in China. It doesn't feel like China as much. So I've stopped on my way because I saw this. It's pretty neat. Chinese style building with a big mosque. So there's apparently a real blend of ethnicities in this city. Got Kazakh, Uyghur, Uzbek, Hui, Han, all the different people that live in China. And Ili is the Kazakh autonomous region or prefecture within Xinjiang. So that's what I've learned. We're definitely getting closer to old Soviet territory, because there's tracksuits to buy and a lot more Adidas, which is really funny when you think about it, because we're still in China, but all of a sudden just huge uptick in Adidas tracksuits. Okay, this definitely feels a lot more like China. We are now in their main attraction. I have been to the bus station and they have confirmed that it's 200 RMB. And then I've had something that's basically made me make the decision to just go straight to Almaty tomorrow, and that is I've now run out of data. So if I want more data on my phone, I have to pay like 12 bucks, which isn't much, but if I'm only going to use it for a day or two, it doesn't make much sense. And it doesn't seem like a lot to do. And as I said in the last video, if I don't know what to do in a place and I miss something, it's not that big of an issue, because I'm just going to a new place anyway. So while I'm wandering around, I may as well do a bit of review on China and let people know my thoughts. Not that my thoughts really matter, but they are what they are. So too long didn't read for this will be, should you visit China? Yes, I think you should if you have the means. I will break it down into a few categories. So I'll go cost, food, ease of travel, touristy things, so that's culture and nature, and the internet, because the internet's its own thing. So in terms of cost, I would say that China is comparable to Vietnam, if you want it to be comparable to Vietnam. If you want it to be comparable to Singapore, you could make it comparable to Singapore. The benefit of the fact that it is such a large country and it is developed, but it is still manages to be cheap. You can choose how you want to travel it. So you can choose if you want to travel it cheaply or if you want to travel expensive. If you want to stay in nice hotels, you can stay in nice hotels. If you want to sleep in little hostels, you can sleep in little hostels, and it'll cost you sometimes only 7 or 8 New Zealand dollars a night, which is very cheap. The food is cheap, and the most expensive thing is generally the travel, and that's it. And maybe if you want to do an expensive touristy thing, that will cost you more money. So then we get on to food, and I'll say the food is good. Is it the greatest food I've ever had in my life? This is a tough call, but I would say no. I wouldn't say that that Chinese food is as good as Thailand. I don't think, and this is an odd critique, that they cook as well. The way it is set up here is that it's mostly chain restaurants. It's not like Thailand or Vietnam where you walk in and it's just like a little family thing. It's almost always a chain that you're getting food from. So the way that it is prepared is it's a set menu, and it's just same as at home off a chain restaurant. Quite often it's just young people cooking up your meal. Unless you go into what I loved was Lanzhou beef noodles, still my favourite thing, and there were a couple of small restaurants that were just clearly owned by, you know, a family or something like that, but again, kind of rare to find. Cheap though. Do they do Western food? Not really. If they do Western food, do they do it well? Not really. You don't go to a burger place and get a Chinese man to cook it for you. You don't go to a Chinese place and get a white man to cook it for you. It just doesn't make sense. They just don't do it as well. McDonald's and K-Fry, just as good, probably better. I read that it's because of their supply chains. They're very tight with it, so how they do it is quite good. I realised I didn't mention with the food as well. My opinion of it is probably a little biased because I didn't get the full experience. Chinese food is set up for groups. It is in communal eating. It is not set up for people who are by themselves. So I was pretty much always limited in my options for food I wanted to eat. Which, if I'm giving advice to people who want to solo travel, it's still relevant. But if you're going in a group, the food will be great. Pretty much every time I had food with people, it was always great because you could eat a lot more variety instead of just a plate of noodles. The only other thing I will say though is I hate hot pot. I just hate cooking my own food at a restaurant. I can't stand it, whether at home or in China. I just don't see the point. It costs more money and I'm doing work. If I go to a restaurant, I'm paying someone else to cook my food, not cooking it myself. But that's just my little thing. Anyway. Next we have ease of travel. And I would say China is the easiest travel I have ever done in my life. The fact that you just get your rail app and that basically you just use your rail app and you book everything through that. You just book in advance and then show up to the rail station and get on your train and never think about it. The only thing is you need your passport on you, but that's fine. Ease of travel has been so good throughout the country. I mean, I've got to the end of it and I've just never had an issue. The trains all leave on time. Sometimes you can take a bus, but again, unlike in the western and other parts of Southeast Asia where you usually book through a travel agency, here you just show up to a bus station and ask for a ticket to wherever you want to go, and they'll just sell it to you. Next is touristy things, and I would say in terms of touristy things, and I mean variety of touristy things, China probably has the most diverse variety I've seen in my life, but it comes with a bit of a caveat, and that is that it is commercialized like crazy, and I mean like crazy. How they do it, you understand, because there's so many people going through. So they have the shuttle buses, they have escalators where you wouldn't expect an escalator, so it's modernized, and you get this sort of tour group push through of all these tourist attractions, but it works in its own weird way. You just have to deal with it and accept it, and if you can't accept it, then that's just your issue, because that's how it works here. Other than that, I've found the nature, even with the commercialization, is some of the best I've seen. It's crazy, like it's really good. I remember talking to a Vietnamese guy, and he was saying, he was just telling me that because he had travelled to China, he was like, China's so much better, the nature, way better than Vietnam. And I was like, oh, that's a bit harsh on your own country. But it's such a big country, it's almost impossible for it to not have better stuff in places than Vietnam. It's just the distance between. But again, ease of travel means that you can just travel to wherever, and it's fine. Next, we have the internet. And this is the last thing, and it's probably the biggest thing. And part of the reason why it's the most frustrating thing about traveling China, and that is you have to have apps for everything. The fact that you don't need to carry around cash is really good, but if the apps screw up, it's so annoying. Then there's the firewall, so you can't access Western apps without your VPN. Yeah, as soon as you get your VPN, it's good, but the VPN is still slow. So your YouTube videos don't really load. You doom scrolling on Instagram and stuff won't load. It's just, and uploading things onto Instagram is annoying as well because it doesn't load. But that's just what you kind of have to deal with. And I've been able to deal with it for the last few weeks. But even now, over the last few days, I'm just kind of getting sick of it. And when I'm thinking about going to Kazakhstan, all I'm thinking about is I'll be able to use Google Maps, because I am sick of A-Maps so much. A-Maps is all right, but Google Maps is just so superior to it. It's crazy. The fact that I'll be able to finally find food places again, such a bonus. Yeah, the internet is a frustrating thing, and if you have your local SIM, it's all good because you can just access your internet and you just turn on your VPN and you're sweet. You get heaps of data, but it's still just annoying having to have your VPN on all the time, and then just having slow internet, and you can't really control that. But I don't think it will ever change. Does any of this affect whether I think you should go to China? No, because I still think China is simultaneously the best country I've been to, but also the most frustrating country I've been to. And the reason for the frustration is purely the internet and the massive language barrier, which again, at the end of the day, that's just my minor complaint. China's not set up for me, it's set up for Chinese people. So Chinese people have no issues with the internet and the language barrier, because obviously they speak Chinese. So that's all you'll really have frustrations with, is the fact that you need to use apps for everything. They're all in Chinese, you can't read a heap of them, and your regular internet doesn't work. And if it works slower than usual. And that's why I would say it's fine. You should come here. Basically, those are the points I will make of why you should come to China. It's fun, it's cheap, there's a lot to do, it's very easy to get around, and the only issue is just the internet. But other than that, it's survivable. So I'd say come to China, see what it's about. I don't know why, but there's been a massive uptick in Western food restaurants since I got to the west of China. I guess as we get closer to Central Asia, more of an influence, but I don't know. The last thing I will mention about China, if you're traveling to it, is that setting expectations for it is hard, because what you think it will be like and what it actually will be like are almost always going to be completely different. I don't know what I was expecting, but China's its own thing. It's hard to explain, and as I said when I was in the last video, you just have to be here and then kind of experience it. You see all the videos of the Chinese uncles, and they're there, but they're also not always there. And there are just random things happening quite often throughout the days when you're walking around, and some of it you want to film, but also you don't really have time or think about it, and so much of it happens that you just forget about it. So it's its own thing, and that's why I would say you just come here. I think this will be the end of the vlog. It will be my last vlog in China, not technically, because I'll start the next one on the trip to Kazakhstan, but hope everyone's enjoyed watching me travel China for the last 2 weeks, because I didn't do the first 4 weeks. And then as we go into Central Asia, it's going to get more confusing or less confusing. I don't know, because again, I've actually done very little research. I don't even really know what path I'm going to take, but that's the fun of it. So we'll be on a bit of an adventure. Might be boring, might be entertaining, but I don't know. Ciao.